All right. Yeah, we are live. I am going to give it just a couple of seconds just to get people into the event, our live webinar, How to Stand Out from the Rest with Kosha Brown and Alex Montalenti.
Let's do this.
Yeah, good stuff, right? Over to you and I.
Awesome.
So I am from the lovely state of California, and it's sunny outside. I'm loving it. Alex, you are from Miami, Florida. Well, you're not originally from there, though.
No, I'm a fake Miami guy. I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
There you go. So we've got both coasts coming to you live, talking about how to stand out from the rest. If you're just joining us, please put in the comments where you're coming from. We'd love to see where you're from, just to kind of see what's going on. And we can talk. This is going to be a conversation between Alex and I, but if you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, please put it in the chat. We would love to hear everything that's going on. And if you heard our sneak peek yesterday, there were a lot of people on and going, what are we going to talk about? And I'm super excited. We're going to talk about like basically how your image is on social media, on the internet, how you personally, how your images looks, as well as how your listings look. So we've got some people from Wilmington, North Carolina, St. Louis, Missouri. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get started here momentarily.
Awesome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for organizing this, Kosha. This is awesome. We're streaming.
We are streaming. Just to know a little bit while we're waiting for people to join, a little bit about me. I have a background in real estate. I sold real estate myself for about, 11 years. Then I joined Realtor.com, and now I am the Director of Business Development at BoxBrownie.com. And a little bit of Alex. Alex is an entrepreneur, an innovator into technology. He's a coach to realtors. I mean, he's the co-founder of Real Greater, as well as the co-creator of Instacart, which is a digital business card for real estate professionals that is used by professionals like Ryan Serrant. I pronounced that right.
Yes? Yeah, Ryan
Serrant. So Alex knows a lot of great people. And yeah, let's get into it a little bit, right about how you stand out from the rest. And we have some more people from Louisiana even. All right, love it. Thanks guys so much for joining us.
Mom's watching, I just have to say, Mom, it's all your fault. That's why I'm in this business. That's why I'm in real estate. It all started with my mom. My mom's she's a retired realtor, and she's really the one that got me into it. I thank her for it, but sometimes I joke and say, thanks a lot,
I love it. You always have to have a past of like how you got into this crazy business. So it's good stuff. All right. Well, the first thing, go in, Alex, let's talk about your mom.
Yeah, for sure. Let's meet my mom. So this is my mom. Her name's Adriana. She's a retired realtor. She raised me and my brother in Long Island, New York. And nice story about my mom. Well, nice and not so nice. She came from Romania in 1968, and back then the communism was going on. So my grandfather's factory got taken away, their house got taken away, and they were told they could leave the country, but they'd have to wait for their passports in Italy. They went to Italy. That's where my mom met my dad, actually, in high school there. And while she was waiting for the passports, she met my dad. She moved over to the U.S. My dad chased her all the way to the U.S. Married.
Smart man.
Yeah. But my mom showed up in the States with nothing, like $0, worked in a factory, started getting into rental real estate, and then became a residential real estate agent. And she put a down payment on this house that we see in the picture. And I started helping her with real estate technology back in 1999. And we've been doing websites, marketing, and technology for realtors ever since. So it's been quite a journey. But yeah, that's why I thank and blame my mom at the same time.
And is that your house in the background?
Yeah, I got lucky to live in that house growing up. And yeah, it's quite a house. She sold that house, moved to Miami, and now she's chilling in Miami with the rest of
And then you followed her. You followed her to Miami then.
She followed me.
Wow.
I said, you got to come down. You got to sell the house and, enjoy life a little bit.
What a good son.
Yeah, it was good journey with her. And why we're here today is because there's 2.1 million realtors that are forced to go digital since COVID. And today we really want to touch on what you need to look like online. Like, what does your digital presence need to look like online?
So many people think that it's just them having to I'm going to go out in public and talk to, the local association and become members. And it's not just about what you do in person. It's all about what people look online, because that's where majority of people, when they're looking to find a realtor and a home, is they start online. And sometimes people forget about that.
Yeah, I was just on a webinar this morning for a real estate office, and there was a brand new agent on the call. And he's like, I just got my license. I'm just getting started. And I said, well, if I was going to work with you, what do you think I'm going to do? He's like, oh, you'll probably Google me. And I'm like, yeah. And then what am I going to see? And you actually, what I love about the time that we're in is, this brand new agent has an opportunity to look amazing on Google with Google reviews and all of that. But I couldn't say the same thing 5 years ago, because 5 years ago it'd be, well, how many Zillow reviews do you have? How many transactions did you do? Mm-hmm. Now there's a new game in town, and it's Google. And so you can really show up like a rock star. A brand new agent can really step in and get ahead of some of the veteran agents when it comes to digital presence. But then the veteran agents, they shouldn't be leaving themselves exposed either. And, they have an opportunity to leverage everything they've done in their career to have a really strong digital presence on Google. So there's an opportunity both ways.
Yeah. So what's that $1 million question, right?
Yeah. I mean, it all starts with, how do you show up on Google? Like, from my point of view, everything links from Google. And what I was just saying before is, back in the day, my mom would want to be in the yellow pages. Like that big fat book that would sit next to the rotary phone, and you'd be calling to find a local realtor, and you'd hope that your company was called ABC Real Estate, so you'd put someone on the list.
Yeah.
And I can just Google, which is basically the new yellow pages. Google is the new yellow pages, and I can see you on Google, and I can click and call you, and I can click and see your listings, and I can see your photos. And all of that's available right now. But yet the funniest part is 70% of agents don't have a Google business page. So they're just missing calls. They're just missing the opportunity left and right.
Yeah. So everybody that's streaming with us, how does your digital presence look? So, you've got to ask your question, because we're really going to dig deep and kind of show you the tools and how you can make it look really good and get leads from it. And more than that. So
yeah, I'll ask everybody on who's watching right now, whether you're chatting somewhere, commenting, put in there, if you were going to grade yourself on your Google presence or your digital presence, and just I could grade you from 1 to 100. A 1 is you're invisible online, or 100 is Google me. I'm social media influencer, rock star realtor.
Great question.
What grade would you give yourself? Let's see.
I don't know. For me, for me, I don't know if I look that great. No, I know I look good, but I'm not taking it to the next level, where a lot of real estate agents should do, especially if they want to outbeat, veterans, or if you're the newbie, you want to outbeat, everybody else that's just as tech savvy as you. So.
There we go. We got David. David says he's a 75. Jessica gives herself a C. David's a 75, so I'm going to Google him right now, and we're gonna see if that's true, David. No, I'm just kidding.
He will have the opportunity later on if he wants to.
We're gonna
be in the hot seat.
We're gonna put one of you in the hot seat. We'll Google you live, and we'll actually give some recommendations on what to improve. So, and
you want that
marketing for a team, I'd say a 90. See, I mean, you see that, like, that's what I love. Like David and Ann's like, all right, I got confidence. I'm a 90. So, I mean, how do you show up at a listing presentation? You show up like a 90. But if you're a C, how are you going to show up at a listing presentation? Like, well, I think I did a great job, but I just hope they don't Google me. Because if they Google me, the husband or the wife is going to be like, well, really? I don't know. You know, you don't want to have that doubt. You actually want to have that like confirmation that they've made the right choice.
Absolutely. And most likely they've already Googled you before you even walked in the door. So
absolutely. I mean, anybody who invites me to a webinar is definitely Googling me. And if I don't look like a speaker, they're going to be like, well, why am I inviting this guy? Who is this guy? So, you know, the question is, you know, do you own it? You have a real opportunity to own it. It's not just the Zillow game anymore. It's like all your platforms. It's your Google, it's your Facebook, it's your Realtor, it's your LinkedIn, it's your YouTube. Google owns YouTube. Then it's your, you know, Zillow, your homes.com, like all the different profiles that every Realtor has is going to basically present how strong you are online. And it used to be your reputation, like it really used to be your reputation in the community, but now it's about your reputation online.
Yes, couldn't agree with you more. It's great.
So here's an example of a manager, actually, Lisa Pasavan. She's in Westport, Connecticut. And if you Google her, like she's got a strong digital presence, right? She's got a Google business page with a bunch of reviews. She's got a link to her, you know, agent page, her Facebook, her LinkedIn, her Coldwell Banker site. She's got a digital card that we built for her. From her Google business page, you can download her digital card. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we used to, you know, talk about, dream of. I don't know if anybody knows, but Richard Branson just went to space this weekend. Like he actually
know that.
His commercial plane, he flew as a passenger in his commercial plane into space. They've been working on this for like 20 years. Pretty crazy, but like, this is the future we're in. Like I can go to Google and download somebody's digital business card. I couldn't do that with the yellow pages. I would rip out the page. That was the best thing I could do. I'd rip out the page, fold it up and put it in my pocket, right? So,
and,
you know.
And take it with you and use that rotary phone to give them a call later on.
Exactly. Now it's just like click and done. So, I mean, you know, at Real Grader, what we do is we measure, we manage, and we maximize. So one opportunity for you all for free, and maybe you can put the link, I don't know, Kosha, is getyourfreegrade.com. Any of you can get graded by our technology. We'll grade you on 180 different data points and give you an idea of what you need to improve. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you have to manage all this one way or another. Either you're the techie that manages it yourself, or you've got like your son or daughter doing it, or you've just given up on it completely, or you hire somebody to do it. But somehow all of this needs to get managed, because if you're not online, you're literally missing opportunities. And just to make it so clean and simple, if you are on Google Business, you will get phone calls. And I see it all the time for realtors. And if you're not, you won't get any Google Business phone calls because you're just not there.
You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. You're just like, well, I'm getting the leads from either I'm paying for leads from Realtor.com or Zillow or AdWorks or wherever it might be. And that's how you're getting your leads. You're paying for them instead of you going out there and promoting yourself and getting the leads organically.
So we did like a real test for this webinar. We took a realtor and we set her up on Google Business. We did some stuff with BoxBrownie to really make her look more professional with her headshot, with her properties. Then we ran a Google ad that was included. So Google Business gives you a $100 ad credit, right? And we ran that ad and we got some interesting data that we're going to show you. But she actually generated 3 phone calls in less than 30 days just from her Google Business page. Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
So we've graded a lot of realtors, and these are the things that you want to all look out for. You know, when you talk about how do you stand out from the rest, well, these are the kind of mistakes that would actually have you lose business, right? Inconsistent social media or no branding. It just doesn't make you look like professional. A lot of you sign up to work for companies like Keller Williams or Remax or Element or Sotheby's. You're buying into a brand. You have this amazing branding, but yet online, you're not showing it and showcasing it. What about broken links? We go on your Zillow profile and there's a broken link to your website or to your Facebook page. There's a 404 error, you know, outdated information. You worked at another company, but now you moved over to a company and it still says your previous company and your previous phone number, and you don't even know that you're missing the calls. What about inappropriate content or negative content? And all of this you will find when you really start diving deep into your own digital presence. Like really Google yourself, like put yourself in your customer's shoes. And they're like, I'm gonna give you the best example is actually with my mom again. My mom had a condo that she bought in Miami. And she's like, Alex, I gotta sell this condo, it's time. So she's like, who should I list with? And I know all these realtors, so I gave her the name of a realtor. And she goes, okay, great. I'm going to ask your brother too. I'm like, what, you don't trust me? So she asked my brother, and he gives the name of a realtor. So what does my mom and my dad do? Well, my dad goes and spends like 10 hours researching these 2 realtors, comes back with a 3-page, just like my dad's emails always are, 3 pages long. And full analysis, why this one is better than this one based on the reviews and the online search that he did. It's not just my dad doing this, like the world is doing this.
Everybody's doing it.
You know, take that on as a project for yourself, Google yourself, research yourself and see what shows up. And then talk about data not being synchronized. Like maybe you did 12 deals last year, but Zillow says 0 sales in the last 12 months, right?
Oh, you hate that?
It's the word. So where do you stand? I mean, I want to talk a little bit about Google so people understand like how big this is. Google made $181 billion, right? It's only a matter of time before they fly us to space. You know, Amazon, by the way, is next. So they're creating a commercial aircraft. Anyway, I'm just into this because like he flew to space. Like he literally got
pretty amazing.
Earth, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, 181 billion. They invested 7 billion in real estate. And who spends money on Google marketing is the biggest portals in the world. Like if you look at the financial statements of Zillow, of Realtor.com, they invest like almost 50% of their marketing budget goes to Google. So why aren't realtors doing it? Like it's such an opportunity for you to actually get yourself ahead of the monsters in a way, not monsters in a bad way, but like the monster big players and show yourself off. So the questions I have for everybody on this call is number 1, do you have a Google business page? Because that's the only way you're going to get reviews. That's the only way you can showcase your properties on Google. That's the only way you can get to play on Google local ads. It's the only way you're going to get phone calls off of Google. So you have to have a Google business page. How many? Tell me yes or no in the comments if you have one or not. I mean, what's your
great question?
Kosha?
What did you say? Sorry, I missed it.
What are your thoughts on this, on the Google business page?
Oh my gosh, I think when I go out to dinner, whenever I go to a new town, whenever I like am looking at travel with airplanes, you know, I'm always Googling everything. Like, what does it come up? And always, I don't even go past the fold. So you have to be active, right? In order to be active and show up first and above the fold, you have to have continuous activity, continuously putting reviews in there, putting your listings in there. If you don't do that, Google doesn't think you're working. So you become now below the fold and nobody's going to do that. So, I mean, I wouldn't choose a realtor unless they showed up before the fold, personally.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, I'm about to hire somebody to market my home and they're telling me that they're going to do some great marketing for my property, yet they're not marketing themselves, that's a question mark for me, right? The opportunity is, and the opportunity is so big just to advertise your clients' listings and actually get a lot of views and phone calls off of it. So, I mean, we're gonna look at all of that. I mean, I want to show you, this is before we optimized Olga. And what you see here is, this is her Google business page. This is Olga Zakhanova. She's a realtor at Douglas Elliman, one of our clients. We took her Google business page, we set it up for her, we optimized it. And I just want you to look, for example, at her headshot, and then look at some of her properties. You can actually have properties on the Google business page. She has a link to her website. She has her reviews on here. She's got her phone number on here. She gets phone calls from this, right? And because she has the reviews on there, she gets phone calls on her Google local ad and her Google ad. So she's doing everything. Like, she really does take on technology and marketing. And you can see it. And I would say less than 2% of realtors are putting their listings on a Google business page. So you know, talk about stand out from the competition. There's a huge.
That's what you have to do. Yeah, you have to differentiate yourself. And by doing this, you're standing out against the crowd. You're doing something right to have leverage and make yourself look good. It's awesome.
And now keep in mind, she's just getting started, but there's realtors out there. Like, there's a realtor in South Florida that has over 1,000 Google reviews. You know, there's a Remax agent that has over 890, like the #1 Remax agent in the world, I think. Gary.
I know some of these people. Yeah, Gary Ashton's great.
So, you know, this is an opportunity. Now, what we did here, while I loved us partnering up on this webinar, is we leveraged what we were doing for Olga. And then we looked at, okay, what can BoxBrownie do to even take it a step further and make the professional marketing really stand out? So, I mean, maybe you want to introduce a little more about BoxBrownie before I get into what we actually did here, Kosha?
Yeah, so BoxBrownie, we deal with everything imagery related. So we're website based. So you go to us, you sign up for free, you automatically get 3 image enhancements as well as 1 Twilight conversion free for signing up. We're a no contract, no commitment service. You use us only when you need us. So if you're looking at just image enhancements, item removals, virtual tours, Twilight conversions, virtual staging, renders, we deal with everybody in residential, commercial, automotive, retail, anything digitally, anything digital. So, I mean, this is a great tool. We are a great service to utilize to really increase the exposure and make you look really good online with our images.
So what I loved about this, and I said, Kosha, I'm gonna take the challenge here. I said, I'm gonna just set it up for Olga. Right. So I went in with my team, we set up an account, and like, it literally did take less than 60 seconds to set up an account. And immediately we had this, you know, code, which you're all going to get at the end of the call today, that is going to give you a $40 credit. And you'll literally get optimized imagery in less than 24 to 48 hours. So I said, great. That headshot for Olga was nice, but I didn't really like the background on it. Like, it needed to be a cleaner, more pop out image. And then when I looked at her properties, I said, you know, that's nice, but why don't we do like this dawn to dusk that everybody like loves to look at and makes the house feel so cozy and warm and like inviting. I mean, we're trying to sell this property. And I see this a lot, is like property photos get uploaded to the MLS, but it's not the best format or version. And maybe you don't necessarily want to take the time to send somebody out to reshoot it, but you want to edit those images. And I was like, this is genius, because at least for the first image that I see on a Google business page, or the first images I see on Facebook or Instagram of the property, why not make it a standout image that like really invites them to click? So that's what we did. We jumped in, we set up an account, we created a new job. And I mean, this was my first time in BoxBrownie, okay? So This isn't like I'm a super, knowledgeable expert of the BoxBrownie dashboard. This was really easy to use. Okay, this was like I logged in, created an account, I said new job, and look, for $1.60, I was able to image enhance Olga's face, right? That's it, Kosha, $1.60 on this one?
No. So actual $1.60 is your image enhancement for your personal face is going to be $4. So
Okay.
it's a little bit more. We're enhancing, getting rid of the lines and making you look really the age that you might be with a little bit more glamour.
Either way, I mean, we're talking,
but still $4. Nothing.
And I'm using a $40 credit. So really, my first one isn't costing me anything. So that's what we did. We went in for Olga. We did an image enhancement, and then we did a day to dusk on one of her top properties that she was trying to sell on Google. Check it out. This is the before on the left. Look at the after on the right. Much cleaner, right? Much better presentation. And she loved it. Olga loved it. She's like, yeah, set it up, put it on my Google business. So check it out, left to right, before and after. Then we took a property, and look at this. This property, I thought it was just way too cluttered. Like, this isn't what we necessarily want to see. So we decluttered it. And all we had to do was upload this image to BoxBrownie, and then within 24 or 48 hours. 24. They emailed us back the updated image, and we uploaded it to Google Business, and we announced it to like the world, to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to all these different sites. So now what happens to Olga, and look at this one. I mean, we took this property over here, the front facing image, and then we created this beautiful dawn to dusk. So we did some decluttering, we did some dawn to dusk, we did the headshot, and we were still left with a bunch of credits in the account. We hadn't even spent $1 with BoxBrownie yet, right? But just to show you like the quality of the work. Yeah, go ahead.
And that dawn to dusk, if you use that as your primary image on the MLS, you actually get roughly about 4 times the clicks of consumers going into your listings. Who wouldn't use that as your primary image? We call it the hero shot.
The hero, yeah, exactly. And on a website, we call it the hero image. I mean, that's the first inviting image. You want to invite people in. You got to stand out. You got to stand out from your professional photography to your of your face to your professional photography of your listings. And then, I mean, I couldn't believe this declutter job. I mean, it's like night and day. And then this too, I mean, it's just like really inviting if you look at the windows, that's where you see the real difference. Like, it's like somebody lives there versus like, it doesn't look like anybody lives there. So then what we did is we uploaded it to Google Business. Now look at the before and after on our Google Business. She's got a nice, bright, zoomed in image of her here versus kind of this sky image here. And then if you look at her properties down on the bottom, we updated it there as well. So now you're combining digital presence with like updated photography so that you have a really professional presence. And now you got your digital credibility with your reviews. You've got your properties on there. You've got your bio on there. You've really got a solid presence. And Google lets you manage all of your properties on here and lets you share it on social media. So now you're sharing all of these updates on social media. And look at the data. 833 views for this page, up 23%. And then we ran the free $100 ad credit to her Google Business Page. And we only spent 29 of the free. So by the way, what are we talking about here? We just got a $40 credit on BoxBrownie. We got a $100 credit on Google. And I just got 2,000 views for Olga, basically for free. I mean, and awesome. I hate to say it, but realtors, you're out there spending and burning a lot of money on a lot of different marketing platforms. But foundationally, your Google Business Page is a core part of it. Your social media is a core part of it. And mostly what I talk about are free platforms, right? Like, let's take advantage of the free stuff to get started, and then you can work it from there. But, 2,000 impressions, 51 clicks, 3 phone calls from a $29 ad spend that was part of a $100 free ad credit.
Dude, that's so cool.
It's crazy, right? I thought this was like a really fun test because like we had never really done this before. Like, when we met like even less than 30 days ago and we started doing
Less
this,
than 30 days.
This is the kind of stuff anybody on this call can get this done. You set up an ad credit in BoxBrownie, update your headshot, update a couple of your properties, go into your Google business account, use the ad credit to set up your ad. You need help with that kind of stuff. We can help you with that, but all of it's available. And then you start getting phone calls. You start getting more clicks on your business.
I love the fact that from your Google page, you can upload to Facebook, you can upload to all these other social media places. And that's time smart, using your time smartly, right? Otherwise, I feel like you go to Facebook, you get distracted, like, oh, what happened? Sherry just had a baby, and now you're like in this hole of just like getting distracted instead of like really focusing on your business and utilizing Google Plus and in Google reviews and how to send that over. So it's great.
It's all about leveraging. The one thing we don't have is a lot of time. We all have the same amount of time. It's 24 hours in the day. I don't have more of it than you do, and you don't have more of it than I do. It's just like, how do we use that time wisely to leverage our business, right?
Exactly.
That's really what it boils down to. So, when you look at your Google presence and you look at all your presence, what we just spoke about, the headshot, right? Professionally like updated, your listings looking powerful, your digital presence, the listings alone and your headshot can be applied to your realtor.com profile, to your Zillow profile, to your LinkedIn profile, the sharing of the listings, LinkedIn, Realtor, Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, Zillow, home. It's everywhere. You are everywhere as a realtor. Now the question is, do you look professional everywhere as a realtor? Are you complete everywhere? Are you showing up everywhere? Your listing showing up everywhere? And ultimately, are you putting out that feel? That feel like, wow, yeah, that's the realtor I want to work with. That realtor's really taking care of business over here. So here's your opportunity. We're going to take one of you and put you in the hot seat. So how we do this is a fun little game we play. If you want to be in the hot seat, put Google me and your phone number in the chat. I'm going to let Kosha choose somebody randomly. If you won't get in the hot seat today, we will text you and you'll get an opportunity to do a one-on-one hot seat with anybody from our team. But what this is we're actually going to Google you on this call right now. And we're going to let you know, hey, this is what you could be doing with your Google business page. This is how you could implement, BoxBrownie on your Google business page. This is how you could implement growth on your Facebook page or on your LinkedIn page. This is what you're missing. These are our recommendations. We usually charge like $300 to $500 depending on what size of agent team or office to do this audit. But we're going to take one of you on for free today and do the hot seat. So feel free to comment, put in Google me and your phone number. I'll let Kosha pick somebody. We'll wait for a couple of people to comment away, and then we're going to go on this journey, and it'll be fun. Everybody gets to learn from it because the truth is you all have the same opportunities in front of you, and you'll learn how to leverage it by comparing yourself to somebody that we bring online.
Alex, just for use of best of time, let's go ahead and do David Cox. Google me. His phone number is 202-365-8138. Let's see what he looks like. I thank you so much for Jessica and SolarRange. Like, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being willing to be in the hot seat. And we will definitely reach out to you and do a free hot seat for you later on. Okay. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Adam. All right. He's on it. Alex is doing his stuff.
So David Cox, just give me a yes if you're cool with this. What we're going to do is we're going to Google you. And you just got to be open and vulnerable. It's all good. Nothing's going to go wrong here, but what you actually get is to learn how you're doing online and what could be improved. And trust me, a lot of people make the same kind of mistakes, but a lot of people do a lot of things that are good on here too. So are you good to go, David? He says, yes, amazing. So first thing I see is David does have a Google business page. So first of all, I acknowledge you, David, for having a Google business page. 70% of realtors do not have one set up. And my first recommendation to you is that you have your photo here. So your photo should be here instead of whatever this photo is. It looks like an exterior of a building. We want to make sure that I immediately associate the search with you. So it creates that relatedness to you. Make sense? The next thing is we do have a link to your website here. I see that you're linking to a HomeSnap site. I don't know if that's where you want it to go or you want it to go to your actual website, but that's something to take into consideration. I also see that you have one Google review, and it's not a great Google review. So what do you do when, and this is great for a lot of people, what do you do when you get a not so great Google review? First of all, a good idea is to respond to it, not to leave it unresponded. And I'm not going to expose what the review says. That's fine, whether, what it is, was a real client or not a real client, doesn't really matter. The point is to learn from this. And so acknowledge the review, respond to it in a customer service oriented way, not defending or arguing, not pouring more gas on the fire, but instead just letting people know that you heard that person's feedback. And I would request that they contact you so you can talk about it in further detail offline. What else I would do is I would actually go get a bunch. In your case, David, I would try to get 5 to 10 5-star reviews so that you drown out that one review. If you got 5 to 10 5-star reviews, that thing would come up to 4 or 5 stars pretty quick. And it wouldn't matter. I mean, when you have enough 5-star reviews, one bad review doesn't really make a difference because people know that, okay, it's in general, right? Like in general, there's good reviews. Now, another thing is down here, your bio. You do have a bio down here, but you want to add your service areas in your bio. And why that's important is because Google is all about search engine optimization. So the more service areas you have here, the more likely you are to show up on a search for that local area. Now, David is posting on here. It looks like you're using HomeSnap for your posts. I know what those posts look like, so that's great. And you may want to come in with putting some property posts as well. And you may want to add your actual listings here by using Google Business and putting in the products and services area, just like we did for Olga. And just to give you an idea, how would I want your page to look? But with your photo, obviously, it's kind of like this. Like here's Linda Skolnick, her face, her 5-star reviews, her listings, her bio, etc. Even her social links, right? So that's what a really quality Google business page looks like. Make sense, David? And for everybody else, you should be comparing and saying, well, how do I look online? What do I need to fix here?
This is great stuff. I mean, everybody should be absolutely taking notes in here. Just talking about putting the placement of your personal photos, make sure that your listings are there. You're spending money with hiring a photographer to go out and take really good pictures and then using BoxBrownie to enhance them. This is a great another service and tool that you can now put yourself and put those listings on Google. And don't you think your clients are going to love you for that as well? I mean, this is awesome.
Awesome. And one thing I'm noticing for David, and let me know, I'm not clear at this point, now that I Google you, which company you're at. Is it Coldwell Banker? Is it Compass? And so that might be something too, is like a lot of agents change brand. And when you change brand, you want to make sure that your brand change shows up across the board. And, I've seen this a lot. Like there was a company in Long Island, New York, Coldwell Banker went from a Century 21 to Coldwell Banker, 800 agents suddenly had to do a brand change. That means you actually have to change your brand on Google. You have to change it on Facebook. You have to change it on LinkedIn, on Realtor, on Zillow, on Homes.com. And you can't just blame these other companies for not doing it for you because it's actually your reputation. So, at the end of the day, this is really something every realtor needs to be taking on. Yeah, we can
Alex,
search. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just like, David had that question. Can you search for errors?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as we go through it, I mean, if you go through our official grade request, we look for errors. If you hop on a site audit with us, I don't have like that much time to go through everything, but absolutely, we check 180 data points to find errors. We work with our clients to correct all of this stuff, to rebrand them, to fix it, to optimize it. So we're like the company that does it for you. But yes, we do find the errors. Another thing you can look at here is realtor.com. So here we're seeing David. Is this your headshot here, David? So this is probably David's realtor.com page. And this is very common that we see information missing, like bios, service areas. You can have up to 18 service areas on realtor.com. So
Alex, that's the wrong David.
Oh, it's the wrong David? Okay. But notice, like, David, we need to make sure that we get you optimized. So you're in Washington, D.C. Let's see if we can find your Washington, D.C. one.
There, first one.
Oh, cool. So check it out, David. You actually have 2 Google business pages. So we'd want to consolidate that too. Is this you, David?
Yeah, do the top one. Yep, that should be. Yep, that's him.
All right, cool. And which company are you at, David? Is it Coldwell Banker or Compass? Just want to make sure I get the right information here.
He said Coldwell Banker.
Okay, good. Perfect. So this is a good start that we see. We're starting to see some branding for David, right? Now, obviously, we don't want to have the images cut off. We want to make sure they're fitting and they're the right resolution. We do see the bio in here. We do see the service areas in here. So this is great. And this is what all of you want to have, is a bunch of service areas on here. Like that other profile for the other David, he was missing his bio, he was missing his service areas, and he didn't have recommendations or reviews. So this David, way to go, because you're actually set up with 15 recommendations and a bunch of 5-star ratings. For everybody on this call, one of the things you should know about is you can copy your reviews from other sites and paste them into the recommendation section on realtor.com. You can't do it for the 5-star section, but for the recommendations, you can go in the realtor.com dashboard and upload more so you build reputation.
Now, Alex, can they take those past reviews and put them on the Google business page?
Unfortunately, no, there's no copy and pasting for Google. There's you could copy and re-request it for them to, send it to the seller or the buyer again with the actual review and say, can you just click on this link and post it on Google Business? But there is no automatic syndication tool.
So I would definitely recommend maybe when you get a closing, you have a spreadsheet of where am I going to ask for this review to be sent to, and kind of go in rotation, because there's so many different places that look at reviews, but Google is by far one of the best places to do it. So if you can do your Google reviews from there and request them to be posted there, and then you can copy and paste and turn it into a recommendation on realtor.com, I think that would be the best way.
Yeah, I mean, we push for diversified reviews, but we push for Google Business first and then copy that over to realtor.com recommendations. But I do like to see that realtors have a nice diversified portfolio.
Makes sense.
So this is looking pretty good. The only thing I would say here, David, is this branding on top. We'd love to have a nice branded image that has your logo, but also has your contact information. And that branded imagery could be used on Google Business, realtor.com, Facebook Business, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let's pop over here again and take a look at your Zillow. Awesome. So great. He's got a lot of sales in the last 12 months. He's got 17 reviews. He's got his bio. Some of the things you can do here, David, is you can add a link in the bio on Zillow, and that can link to your website or link to your YouTube or your Instagram. You could add multiple links actually right in your bio. And then over here on the right-hand side, you could add video on the bottom. You don't have to be a Zillow Premier agent to have video on the bottom here. And I'm checking your links here. You got your website, you got your blog, you got your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So let's pop over to Facebook for a second and see what's there. So yeah, we just want to have consistent branding here. Whatever imagery we're going to put on Facebook, we want to have that same imagery on Google Business as well. And your call to action is this. And I usually like to have click to call, but if you're really active on WhatsApp, that's cool. But if it's not your most active place and phone is more active, then you might want to have click to call. Sometimes we see people book an appointment or send me a message, but I'm not a big fan of that because you'd have to be on Messenger 24/7 or be on WhatsApp 24/7. So usually click to call is my favorite call to action. I am seeing your social media stack in here, and this is good for everybody. Social media stack means all the links to social media. You got the Twitter, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, the YouTube. So clearly David's very active, right? More tech savvy than most realtors because he's actually got a lot of this stuff set up. Just the branding, I would say, needs to be consistent. Maybe the headshot needs to be consistent across the board. And some of the calls to action, we might want to line those up so they're all pointing to the same place. Make sense so far?
Love it.
How's David doing? Are we getting some feedback from David?
Yep, David's doing good. He's just like, he's got the cool sunglass smiley face. So I think he's taking this all in, and everybody else are taking notes and how they can compare what you're talking about back to what they look on their own site. So.
All right, so David, I gotta give it to you. You're one of the very few realtors that I've seen that is leveraging the LinkedIn featured area, putting your properties in here. So way to go on that. This is something I rarely ever see, but this is called a featured module on LinkedIn. You can actually feature properties on LinkedIn as well, and not a lot of realtors ever do this. So this is great to see this. And he's got a nice big bio on here. The only thing I would say with your LinkedIn, David, is to get this branding to be a nice, consistent branded image. And what do I mean by that? Just to give you an example, would be like, let's take Linda, for example. If I go to her realtor.com, this is kind of like what I see as a nice branded image, right? It's got your logo, it's got your company logo, it's got your name, title, phone number, and it's got like some local area image, but it's sized accordingly to fit for every profile. So she's got this consistently on Realtor, on Google, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. And that's really what I like to see. I call that a branded cover image, and that's what every realtor should really have across the board.
This is good stuff.
Yeah, let's just go back over here. That was the LinkedIn. We looked at the Zillow, we looked at Facebook, we looked at Google Business, and he does have his products on here. So let's see. I mean, David, did you do this all yourself, or did you hire a company to do this? Because you're looking like a professional marketing agency here.
So you mentioned before that he has 2 Google business pages.
Yeah, if that other one was him, I'm trying to figure that out. But I do see that sometimes where realtors have more than one. So yeah, it looks 16, 17. And
yeah,
16,
same photo.
So yeah, so we probably, in your case, David, I would probably just get rid of that other one because it had a bad review on it. Not a bad, but a 2-star. So I would probably get rid of that, and it looks like you really built this one up. So either I would clean up the other one and get more reviews, but you're doing it. So he says, yeah, a little bit of both. He probably did some himself and some through a marketing agency, but this is a nice, consistent branded look and feel. So what we're showing here is a really great example of what you all need to look at and look like, and it is possible, and he's doing it. So this is great.
Way to go, David.
What else do we have here? We did LinkedIn, we did Zillow, we did Google Business, we did Facebook, we did Realtor. I mean, those are pretty much the core sites. I didn't see a homes.com one. Let me just see if that's there. Homes.com. Seeing your home snap, you're real satisfied. Here's the homes.com. Perfect. Yeah, and this one looks pretty complete too. Here you can have up to 5 service areas, social media links. He has his specializations, his bio. Yeah, David's doing a great job. Very rare that we see this, so this is good for everybody to see what's actually possible for you.
Yeah, and as he said, I mean, he did some of it himself and he hired some of it out. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd actually put David, like, if he was a client, I'd put him in the portfolio. Looking good.
Look at that. Well, I know everybody, I mean, we said that this was going to take an hour. So in the event that people really want to get their grade and how they look, remember that you can go to, what is that? Get your free grade, right?
I'm bring up that page for you right now. Just give me one sec.
Get your free grade is there at the bottom scrolling. So definitely get that.
Yeah, so I mean, here we saw an example with David Cox. I'll just finish with this. We got 9 minutes. Here's an example, and we'll just present that, and I'll take it right to the end here. You know, this is what you want your Google business page to look at for everybody. This is what you want your Facebook page to look like.
Alex, hold on. It's not the screen, wrong screen.
Oh, hold on one second. I'll do that right here.
This is technology at its finest, people. This is how we do it. On the fly, love it.
All right, there we go. So this is what you want your Google business page to look like. And then this is what you want your Facebook page to look like. The call to action might say call now. Your Instagram, you want to have a nice Instagram profile with a link to your website with your highlight buttons. Your LinkedIn, you want to have a nice branded image. Your YouTube, you want to have a nice branded image on that as well. Your homes.com should be completed with the social media stack, with your bio, with videos. Your realtor.com can have the branded image, your service areas, up to 18 service areas, and your Zillow can have links in the bio, have video, and that's really what a complete digital presence would look like. You might have a digital business card that you could text message to people, and you'd want to start building your reviews on Google because that is a really important asset. The secret is, I mean, we can do it for you. You can do it yourself. And what I want to get to here is the promotion codes that we have available for you all today. First of all, to get Olga all optimized with her headshot and her properties, we use the promo code RealGrader at BoxBrownie.com, and that gave us a $40 credit to do all those updates. I gotta say, that was my first time using BoxBrownie. It was super easy. The results came back right away via email, and then I was able to update it all for Olga. So that was awesome. Anything you want to add to that, Kosha?
No, I mean, I think we all learned a little bit about how we look and how we can look and how easy it is. It's all about really consistency. It's all about how you can use free tools out there to make yourself look good and make your listings look good. You then go back to your listings and your sellers and say, look at the promoting that I'm doing to your business, to your listings, and then you're getting leads from it. So this is just a great opportunity for you guys to take your business to the next level, pay attention to what you're doing, how you look, and by utilizing the free promo code, that's RealGrader, make sure it's all caps when you do sign up at BoxBrownie.com. And then you want to go to getyourfreegrade.com to get your $200 off the optimization, and then just get your free grade and how you look. And just how Alex dug a little bit deep in regards to how David looked, he's going to do the same thing for you guys. So definitely take advantage of this. We have a little bit of time. We want to open it up. If anybody has any comments or questions, put it in the comment field. We'd love to answer those things. I mean, you've got me being in real estate and being with BoxBrownie. You've got Alex being this entrepreneur, social media guru, tech guy. Definitely take advantage of us while you can. You guys, anybody have any questions? Put them in the comments.
Awesome.
And if you liked what you've heard so far, make sure that you put a like on the video. That would be really great. We love that.
Yeah, and just to be clear, these are two separate websites. So if you go to BoxBrownie, use the code RealGrader, and that's where you're going to get your photo updates and your virtual staging, your dawn to dusk, your headshot updated. And then if you want to know how you're doing on your social media sites and your digital presence, go to getyourfreegrade.com. You'll get your free audit. If you decide that you want help, by filling out that form, you get $200 off the optimization package. And for anybody who's on this call, that you want either me and Kosha to come and do a presentation for your brand, for your office, that's something that we can look at as well. But yeah, I'd love to know if David, what was your biggest takeaway? David got the hot seat experience.
I know. I love it. Hopefully he's still on, that he can give us some of his takeaways. If you guys want to follow either one of us on social, I am Kosha BoxBrownie. We also have Alex. What's your handle?
Alex.Montalenti.
There you go.
David said consistent. Yeah, exactly. Because you got it mostly set up, David. You just don't have that consistent brand going, and you actually do have branding. You got your own logo. So once you get that done, you're going to be top notch over there.
That's awesome. Well, Alex, I think, nobody has any questions. So I feel like we did a good job covering, going over and how you look on your Google business page, how you can do it, as well as some takeaways of BoxBrownie, how you can absolutely look good in your profile picture, getting that twilight conversion, as well as item removal that was used right there. You guys, this is awesome. This has been fun. Thank you so much for being here, Alex, and doing this with BoxBrownie and myself. And you guys, everybody out there, be safe, be successful. If you have any questions, please reach out. We are here to help you in your business to gain more business for you and look good in the long run. So any last words, Alex?
No, that was great. I would say I'd love to hear if anybody else, your biggest takeaways. Like, what are you going to take on? So, I mean, you just spent an hour with us and you learned a bunch of stuff. I mean, what are you going to take on? Is it, I'm going to go on BoxBrownie and create an account? Is it, I'm going to go on Google Business and go get my $100 ad credit? Am I going to go on my Facebook and clean that up? What's something that you could actually implement from everything you learned today? Because we all know we learn a lot, and then we get busy, and then we don't implement it. So your commitment to something.
Or you get overwhelmed. If anything, just take away one or two things that you can just implement into your business. I mean, just a little tweaking on your Google business. Open a Google business page. I mean, if anything, just do that. If anything, go to BoxBrownie.com and fill out and sign up. I mean, it's free, no contract. Hello, that's awesome.
Awesome. I see Ann says she's going to add her listings to her Google My Business accounts. And Jessica says, I'm going to create a Google business page ASAP. That means it landed. It means we did good today.
We did our job.
Yeah.
We did our job. You guys, thank you so much. I'm glad we have people in there that already have a Google's business page and have used you. They've used BoxBrownie and they love it. That's awesome. That's all we want to do is really just build success for you and help you along the way. So you guys, thank you so much for listening in. Thank you, Alex and RealGrader, for being with us. Take care.
Have a great day.